I was interested to read that the United States is a piro-negative country, which means that they won't accept horses from South Africa that test positive for biliary.
For piro, correct, for biliary, yeah.
And apparently biliary is something that you'll test positive for without being active.
Correct. So you don't need to be sick.
So it's similar to the Doreen and the Sura tests or the titers. Is that
Not quite. So whereas the SORA test is, as I said, it's subjective. You might not have SORA or have ever had SORA, and as I say, it's a deadly disease, and you could potentially still show a weak reaction. With pyro, you could potentially transmit the disease if you are what they call like a low carrier. There's a little bit of it in your system. So they have the ticks, they have the
vector?
the ability to transmit it, but they don't have the disease.
So a tick could bite a pyro-positive horse and then spread it like
Even though that
wildfire.
horse may have never had shown signs of biliary in its life.
It's got antibodies, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
At some stage, it's had a tick bite it and has the disease within its body.
Jeez, that's there's just every time we speak about horses, I feel like there are countless ways for us to have handbrakes.
And it's a difficult thing to get rid of because it can stay in the system for a long time. You can treat them for it. But potentially come summer again and your horse is out in its grass paddock and gets bitten by another tick and it's back into its system. So it's a very, very tricky and difficult thing to work with and to get rid of and to make sure that your horse stays pyro-negative during its entire trip from Joburg, if it's coming from Joburg to Cape Town, from Cape Town to Mauritius, from Mauritius to Europe, and Europe onto America. The Americans themselves, they don't really trust anybody's testing. So in theory, you could put your horse on a plane tomorrow and ship it straight off to America.
Okay.
No quarantine in South Africa, but it would land in America, have to complete a 60-day quarantine when what they call a lockdown quarantine. So they close all the windows in the barn.
Wow.
Your horse gets stuck in that barn for 60 days, no exercise. Most they can do is walk up and down the passage.
Wow.
You're also blocking off that entire barn for any other horse, so it's going to cost you an absolute fortune. I think when I did the maths and I was working it out, it worked out about 50,000 dollars per horse, based on about 30 horses flying. Once they've completed that 60-day lockdown quarantine, they do then, mares and stallions have to go and do a CEM clearance testing. The stallion, if I'm not mistaken, is a month, let's call it quarantine, but it's at any yard. They just need to do a CEM clearance over there, so they can move and they can be free. They can be normal horses out in the paddock. They just need to do that CEM clearance. And mares, if I'm not mistaken, is 2 weeks. Same thing. They move to a separate yard. They can go out in paddocks and all of that. And then geldings can go off. The stallions do have to do a live covering, which puts all the horses off, because while the race horses are currently working and performing, they don't want to distract them with live cover breeding.
Very distracting.
They've got to go go and race afterwards. So it's hard to get that many people together to commit